Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV, and it is the final round of Smoking Pirellis, and we are live here from the Canadian Grand Prix for this final round. And I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a very, very good end to the season. At least I certainly hope it will anyway. We will most likely have a full lobby, but I'll tell you what, let's have a little recap of what happened last time out at the Circuit of Americas. This is the results from the USA sprint race and feature race. Big Balls picking up the points in both races, so 50 points in the feature race, 25 points in the sprint. Tom Go Prof nicking second in the feature race, but Nat Packers in the McLaren picking up 22 juicy points in second place in that sprint. It's been a really, really interesting season, to be fair, and it's all to play for still, all the way through the field, particularly P1 and 2 in both the Constructors, which we'll look at first. That's the Constructors' Championship. Aston Martin lead the way. It's in their hands. 393 points. It's going to need Zachic and Rapid F1 to put in a great performance, and a good performance from those two today. And welcome to the stream, Zachic. I've just seen your message there. He's going to be close. You're right. Yeah, good performance from those two today, and they can wrap up that Constructors' Championship. There's going to be a lot of pressure from Williams, who've been pretty resilient last few races, and Big Balls especially been very, very quick. It needs his teammate Super Calgon just to whack some points on board and just get them up the order a little bit. McLaren doing very well. Polish my balls for McLaren, and obviously Nat Packers as well. Nat Packers clearly in and around that top three. Haas with an outside chance of jumping their way into that top three as well. Tyler and who's the other driver? I forgot who the other driver is. I don't think he's here. Webstappen. Tyler and Webstappen racing for Haas, both with a good opportunity to get themselves in that top three for Haas. So this is the key one. That is the current top 10. Rapid F1 for Aston Martin leads the way in the championship, 301 points. And first place for him today, and that is sewn up. But it's not all over. Jinxie and Neff AMG Mercedes. Nat Packers in there, obviously, for McLaren. Then we're looking at sort of Curly and Nick, possibly to nick their way into that top three. But it is going to be the battle of the ages between Rapid F1 and Nat Packers. Further down the order, we'll look at the rest of the standings. We can't ignore everybody else. Icon was just out there, just inside that top 10. Tongo Prof, he's had a massive resurgence in the Alpine in the last few races. Really been putting in a shift. Currently sitting outside the top 10 on 111 points. If he performs well, he could quite easily nick his way into, in fact, it would only take a relatively reasonable result to nick his way into that top 10. Top 3, it's going to be a bit of an ask from there, but top 5 is certainly not out of his reach at this stage. So that's what we got. That is where we're at. We are at Canada this evening, and Canada's a great racetrack. Lots of very long straights, lots of very quick corners, and of course you've got the big 180 switchback heading down at the sort of far end of the course, which heads you back down towards the start finish line. 35 laps after 18-minute qualifying, and then we will know who is the final champion. And just remind you again of what's at stake here. 393 points for Aston Martin. Rapid F1 with a win today will guarantee the championship. In fact, all Rapid F1 needs to do is to finish ahead of Nat Packers. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this where we can all see it. Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. So that's where we stand in terms of the drivers and the Constructors' Championship. Rapid F1 for Aston Martin. If he finishes ahead of Nat Packers, he will guarantee to win the championship, whatever happens behind him with anybody else. I'm just trying to move this out of the way now. Let's move that out of the way. My computer's got a little bit mental. There we go, woken up. Right, so there we go. So we're ready to start, but that's where we're at. Rapid F1 for Aston Martin finishes ahead of Nat Packers. He will guarantee the championship. However, it really depends on what happens with the guys from Williams Racing. If they can close that gap, and it's only 42 points, that gap. So any good performance from those two, and we could be seeing a big change at the top of the Constructors' Championship. But it is at the moment in the hands of Rapid F1 and his Aston Martin team to decide what happens today. A win from him and it's all over for the rest of the pack. But I'm pretty sure no one's just going to let that happen without giving it a little go. So we're just waiting for everything to load up and then we will be cracking. And I love this. One of my favourite F1 tracks is Canada. You can see there. I mean, that's your big 180 switchback there. You can see on the screen. It's really, really cool. It gives you and the exit out of that corner is key because that's the exit that gives you the impetus to get your good lap. You've got a long straight before it. You can see that on the left hand side. Big braking zone into that 180, and then you head flat out with a DRS zone down to the final chicane, which takes you to the start-finish line. And we will do an on-board when we get a chance soon anyway. So first things first, let's bring up some info. Let's bring up the track map, shall we? There's the map right there, just fitting. How about that? So who's going to be out first? Who's going to set the representative lap? As I say every time, we've got 19 of the 20 runners, which is not bad for a final race of the season. You would expect you to have 20, but you know it is what it is. And first to head out is... We'll run through the order actually. So we've got... there we go. So we've got Super Calgon for Williams Racing. Bloodpool for Alfa Romeo. Rosé for Red Bull. Explicit Simo for AlphaTauri. Bix, I'm going to call him Bix, that'll do, for Mercedes AMG. Zacic for Aston Martin. In their hands is Zacic and his teammate Rapid F1 is in their hands today. Curly racing for AlphaTauri. Polish My Balls for McLaren. Also good performance from him today, and along with Nat Packers. We don't know what's going to happen, and we have now got the full 20 runners. Then we've got... I'm having a bit of an issue with my controller. It's all got a little bit haywire. Let's go out on track and then we'll sort it out. Don't know what happened there. So, outlap. Explicit Simo, he's on his outlap in the AlphaTauri. As is Zacic. Curly's on an outlap. Samuel Beach on an outlap. Tyler also, and Landscape King in the Alpine, all on an outlap. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to go on board with, where is he? With Zacic, as he was the one that jumped onto the stream and said hello. And for the three of you that are there, thank you for joining me, and we're looking forward to a good race tonight. Any predictions? Do you think that anyone can beat the current leader at the moment? Is Rapid F1 just got this sewn up, or is there something in it? Is there an opportunity for him to nick something? So here we go, Zacic just coming into sector 2, and then you've got the right-left combo back on that power, and you do spend a lot of this racetrack, in fact most of this racetrack on the power, almost as much as you do at somewhere like Monza. This is that big 180, very, very key corner. You really want to take that a little bit tighter on the inside with a bigger, wider exit. But you're on that power. You've got the DRS zone coming up, and that gives you that extra burst of pace heading down towards the chicane. You keep your car to this left-hand side. Just after you see that flashing sign, that's when you brake, get it turned in. Use all the curbs, but be careful not to get your tyre over those white lines. Then you head down, and that completes your lap. And that's a 1:11.2 from Zacic. And this sector 1's quite tricky because you've come off the back of quite quick sector 3, and you find yourself going through that little chicane at the beginning. You've got this right-left combo, then you place basically on the power. So it is pretty much, apart from the right-left combo, this left and right combo here, and then the next little right-left combo it's all about straight line speed. So downforce, you can scrub off a little bit of downforce here and give yourself a better top end. Just be a little bit careful through these little twists and turns that get you up to this point. So there we go, Zacheek on pole with Landscape King. Alongside him, Samuel Beach with a 1:12.0 and Curly with a 1:12.4. We've got a few more on outlaps at the moment. Bix NCS, he's just starting his hot lap. He's racing in the Mercedes-Benz today. And Nat Packers lays down a gauntlet. Nat Packers is vying for this championship. Puts in a 1:11.2. And straight away, Rose with a 1:10.5. And Tongo Prof, who in the last 4 races of this season has been absolutely dominant in the Alpine, puts himself on pole with a 1:10.4. That's a really, really quick lap, and we can see the times already tumbling. And Zacheek busted down to the second row into 4th place after his initial hot lap. But at the moment, Tongo Prof is the one to beat with a 1:10.4. Very, very solid qualifying lap. Still wait to see what sort of lap we get from the current championship leader. He's yet to come out and set it. Oh yeah, I'd say that. As I say that, he sets the time with a 1:10.6. We have a yellow flag in sector 2. Hopefully that disappears very quickly, and we'll see now. Bix crossing the line. We didn't see a time there, so did he? He must have had an issue with a corner cut or something somewhere. So this is how it looks at the moment. Front row is Tongo Prof with Rosé, Rapid F1 and Nat Packers, the 2 vying for the 1 and 2 in the championship. Currently 3 and 4 on the grid. Second row, Zacheek, Rapid F1's teammate, looking very good for the constructors there, with him sitting in 5th place. Row 3, in fact, he's joined by Jay Hartnell. And Landscape King and Jinxie bring up row 4. Samuel Beach and Nick on row 5. Curly and Polish My Balls are on row 6. Still got several to put a lap in. Super Calgon, very keen to see what he can do in that Williams. And Big Balls as well will need to get a lap set as quickly as possible. They're the 2 Williams races. They're the 2 we need to see put in a bit of a performance to maybe mix things up in this Constructors' Championship. And let's give you a quick reminder how we're looking for the Constructors. We've got Aston Martin, they're leading the way. And at the moment with Rapid F1 as a cheek where they are on the grid, it's going to be a really difficult task for Williams Racing. Both still need to set time, to be fair. And McLaren, Nat Packers has set a time. Polish My Balls has, but it's not a super quick one. Now the question is, what can Haas do? We've got Tyler and Wabstappen in the Haas cars. Now they are the single biggest threat to McLaren. Now we know that Nat Packers is going to be there or thereabouts, certainly challenging around the front of the pack with Rapid F1. But it's going to be key to about polish my balls. I mean, obviously, Nat Packers has got to finish. You can't crash your car out because you get to 0 points. But it's going to be about how those cars can perform in relation to polish my balls, the teammate, because they need to pick up some big points and some big points further up the field to close that gap and negate any points that Nat Packers gets. If, of course, polish my balls doesn't put some mega points on the board. So it's still all to play for in the Constructors. In terms of the actual championship, I don't think we can look very much past anyone but Rapid F1. The gap is almost 60 points. It would require Rapid F1 to have a couple of did not finishes for Nat Packers to close that gap enough. But it's still all to play for. Still all to play for. Jinxie in 3rd place. I think that's going to be out of reach for 2nd, but Curly, with a good performance today, could certainly close that gap, and maybe it'd have to be a phenomenal performance. But you never know what can happen. It only takes a crash or a safety car at the wrong moment for things to go horribly, horribly wrong. So let's have a little look through the field. We're still waiting for 5 runners to put in a lap. That's Super Calgon, Bloodpool, Explicit Simo, Wabstappen and Big Balls all still need to set a lap. The front row looks like this. That is Tom Go Prof in the Alpine, heading up the front row from Rosé in the Red Bull. Rapid F1 in the Aston Martin, just ahead of Tyler in the Haas. So good lap there from Tyler, doing what he needs to do to try and close that gap on McLaren. Bix for Mercedes is on row 3. Nat Packer's relegated down to 6th place, just behind him. Zachick down to 7th place, with Jay Hartnell joining him on row 4. Row 5 will be the Landscape King in the Alpine, Samuel Beach in the Red Bull Racing alongside him. Row 7, Explicit Simo with Jinxie. Jinxie looking for a good performance today. Nick with the Ferrari with Curly alongside. Then we've got Matty Bennett and Polish My Balls alongside him. So just Super Calgon, Bloodpool, Wabstappen and Big Balls left to put in a lap. And there is Wabstappen. He's just put himself on to row 8. So it's row 7. Row 7 with a 1:12.2. But the lap to beat at the moment, and what a lap that was a 1:10.4 from Tom Go Prof. So Super Calgon in the pits. Bloodpool is out on track. Big Balls is in the pits. So still Super Calgon and Big Balls. 2 Williams drivers really going to be vying for a championship, leaving it to the last minute to put in a lap. And, you know, I say it's always a dangerous thing to do that. If you haven't got a sort of banker lap on the board, you know, it doesn't have to be the fastest lap you could ever do, but something that gets you in and around where you want to be. And then you can go and fiddle and tweak your car and do what you need to do and fart around in the pits and then come out and do a late run and try and improve it. But to have nothing on the board, it's always very, very risky. So those 3 still. So Bloodpool is not out on track. What can Bloodpool put in that Alfa Romeo? Is Bloodpool capable of putting themselves into that top 10? Maybe mix things up a bit. Maybe making it difficult for drivers like Zachick, like Rapid F1, like Nat Packers, like Wabstappen, like Tyler, who are all going to be vying to try and get extra points to change up this championship. Can they get involved in that fight and stop that from happening? That's the big question. There are a number of other big questions, but those are the big questions of the day currently. I didn't do a track guide. I stopped doing track guides for these guys, and I'll tell you why, because I'm pretty slow ordinarily. But compared to some people I do streams for, it's not crazy slow. That's a spin from Tom Go Prof. That's not going to improve his lap. But when I do a lap, compared to these guys, it looks like I'm driving the safety car backwards in the rain in comparison of lap times. So Bloodpool crosses the line, puts in a 1:14.0. So currently residing on the 9th row alongside Polish My Balls. Is there going to be an improvement there? Super Calgon and Big Ball still not set a lap. And we've seen Super Calgon do it before, let's be fair. Super Calgon has come out and has just chucked in a lap, just one single lap, and it's been a really, really good one. But it's, I don't care who you are and how quick you are, it's risky strategy to do it that way. It really is. So still unbeaten on the front row. Tom Go Prof with a 10.461. Rosé has put in just the one lap. That's a 10.5. Rapid F1 on the second row, 10.6. And Tyler up joining Rapid F1 with a 10.9. Nat Packer's not been able to improve so far. Is still in the pit. So looking for that kind of last knock-ins hot lap. When the track's a little bit rubbered in and you've got some nice warm tyres and the conditions have slightly improved. You know, it's all about a light car, really grippy tyres and a really grippy track is when you really want to be putting in your fastest lap after you've already got something on the board. So Big Balls and Super Calgon now both on track, now both vying to set a time. Now they, as we know from looking at the Constructors' Championship right here, they're currently second. Now their job today really is, it's going to be, I think it's going to be a task too much to knock Aston Martin off the top of the championship today. I really do. I think with the way that Rapid F1 and Zachique have been driving, I think to beat them out for the Constructors' Championship at this stage is going to be difficult. Their fight today is with McLaren and with Haas. They need to start, if they can, ahead of Tyler and Nat Packers. If they can both finish or at least start the race ahead of them, and then obviously get to finish the race, then it's all good for them. But the gap is still quite large, and it's not going to be an easy task today. But with Polish My Balls being so far down the order, Nat Packers being so much further up, it does give them a little advantage. So where did he come in? I've seen him, but he's put a time up. Where is he? So Super Calgon still to set his time. But where's Big Balls? Big Balls comes in 8th place, just behind Zachique with a 1:11.4. That's not a terrible lap, to be fair. It's not terrible. Only a couple of places, well, a row behind Zachique. And Super Calgon retires from this session. That's a big blow for Williams in their chase for this Constructors' Championship here in Canada. Starting from the rear of the pack will be Super Calgon. So at the moment, Big Balls is holding out the flag for the Williams Racing Team. So one hot lap left for everybody. If they're out on an out lap now, this is about the time they need to be getting out there to give them time to get round, get those tyres warmed up, and then get cracking with a lap and make sure that they've got some track space in which to race. Alpine and Haas, or the Haas just getting out of the way of that Alpine of Tongo Prof, who's on his out lap right now. So he's currently sitting with a 1:10.4. He'll want to improve that by a couple of tenths if he can, just to kind of cement that first place on the grid. Be interesting to see what strategies people go for today. Me Too Stopper, it's all about the quicker tyres, the soft compound and the medium compound to get the pace. The hard compound tyre, yes, it's got the longevity in it, but particularly if you can be running quite low downforce to get your big top end speed on these long straights, you're going to want tyres with a little bit more substance, a little bit more grip. And for me, that's going to be the medium or the soft compound tyres. But we'll see what strategies people go for. So Tongo Prof does cross on. He doesn't improve. Oh no, this is, of course he doesn't improve because that was his out lap. Can't improve if you're going on your out lap. You're going to be slower. So everybody bar Wabstappen, Matty Bennett and Bloodpool have gone out for a last knockings hot lap, and Tongo Prof bails on this lap. It'll be the yellow card that caused that problem, or the yellow card, or the yellow flag, shall I say, or yellow card. Was he the cause of it? It certainly looks like, because the yellow flag waving behind him, so he's slowed down. He's out of this qualifying now, but he is on pole position with Rosé alongside. Super Calgon hasn't set a time in this session. I said it before and I say it again, put in your banker lap, then you've got something to fall back on. If you end up not setting a good lap because you've cocked up and it's only one opportunity to do it, you're screwed. And that is the position for Super Calgon right now. So Tongo Prof and Rosé are on the front row. Rapid F1 and Bix NCS row 2. Tyler and Nat Packers row 3. Big Balls and Zachique on row 4. Jay Hartnell Explicit Simo on row 5. That rounds out the top 10. And pretty much everyone out on track at the minute now. Rapid F1 puts himself on pole. Now that is a way to secure the championship. That is how you tell the world you are the current leader of the championship and constructors as well. And that's a 1:10.3. So Tongo Prof had to bail out of his lap. Rapid F1 didn't. Rapid F1 did some rapid F1 driving. That's a really, really good lap. And I think that's going to be very difficult to beat. So front row all changed. Rapid F1 with Tom Go Prof. Tom Go Prof has been on a massive resurgence the last few weeks. Rose and Bix on row 2. Tyler Nat Packers on row 3. Big Bull settles for 7th. That's row 4 for him with Zachik. Jay Hartnell and Explicit Simo on row 5. Landscape King, Samuel Beach, row 6. Jinxie and Curly on row 7. Until Rose does that, Rose's not happy with Rapid F1 being in the lead and puts that Red Bull on pole position. It's just unfortunate that they're not really in the fight for the championship. They're not even in the fight for the top 3. So Red Bull Racing, it's just a point of pride now for them. There is nothing to race for as a team other than a little bit of race day kudos. So all change out front. Who are we waiting for? It looks like everybody has now finished their hot lap. So this is how the grid looks. It's Rose and Rapid F1 head out on row 1. Row 2 will be Tom Go Prof with Bix NCS. Row 3 is Tyler and Nat Packers. Nat Packers will want to make up 2 or 3 places and try and close that gap on Rapid F1 for the championship. Jay Hartnell, Big Balls on row 4 with Zachik and Explicit Simo on row 5. And that rounds out the top 10, and we'll run through the bottom end of the order when we jump into the lobby in a second. So there we go, that's qualifying done and dusted, and that is the last qualifying of this season. Just one race left to go. That is it. So Super Calgon at the back of the pack. Didn't qualify, retired from the qualifying session. Polish My Balls in 19th, just ahead. Then on row 9, it's Bloodpool and Matty Bennett. Nick X and Wab Stappen ahead of them. Then Curly and Jinxie. Then one row up on row 6 is Samuel Beach Landscape King. It's Explicit Simo and Zachik, should I say. Big Balls Jay Hartnell. Nat Packers Tyler. Bix, Tom Go Prof, and your front 2 are Rapid F1 and Rose from Jamaica. So we are ready to go. That is the grid lineup, and all that's left now is to find out who's going to be this season's champion. Everything's in the hands of Rapid F1. Rapid F1 leads the individual championship, and his team lead the constructors championship. So it's in his hands. Basically, his job today is to finish strongly. Not necessarily have to win this race. That's the one good thing. He's in such a good position that he doesn't have to win in order to secure the championship. He just has to stay there or thereabouts and just make sure that those in and around don't nick places off. Oh, excuse me. Don't know where that came from. Big sneezes. It's that time of year, isn't it? It's bloody cold. That's what it is. It's bloody cold. So we'll have the formation lap here, and then it is 35 laps here at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. There we go, so Rose leads them out. He's in the Red Bull Racing Oracle car. Rapid F1 in the Aston Martin. All in his hands today, all eyes on Rapid F1. Current championship leader, lead the Constructors' Championship in the Aston Martin. Big job to do today. And that is to keep the car on the track, avoid any damage, and go quickly, of course. Tom Go Prof, massive charge from Tom Go Prof in the Alpine in the last 4 or 5 races. It's been a joy to watch, actually, to see someone making that kind of charge. Not really enough to nick a championship for himself, but certainly to give himself a good opportunity going into next season. There is Bix NCS just beyond Tom Go Prof on row 2 for the Mercedes-Benz team. Tyler for Haas. Tyler looking for a good finish along with Wab Stappen. Potential top 3 for the Haas team today. Nat Packers in the McLaren, currently second in the championship. Really looking for a top performance here to keep in that top two. And let's face it, runner-up is not the winner, is it? Jay Hartnell in 7th, just behind. There is Big Balls 4, Williams Racing. Big performance from Williams Racing today, and this Constructors' Championship could hang in the balance. But we've got Big Balls there. We've got his teammates, however, way down the order at the back of the grid. Zachic, the second Aston Martin driver, can basically help Rapid F1 do the double just by getting things right. Explicit Simo is him coming up in the AlphaTauri, all lining up now. Landscape King coming into the big spot for Alpine. Sam Beach for Red Bull, Jinxie for the Mercedes-Benz team, Curly, Wabstappen, Nick and Matty Bennett, the two Ferraris in 16th and 17th place. Bloodpool in the Alfa Romeo in 18th, Polish My Balls in 19th, and Super Calgon will slot in 20th place, ready to go. So here we go. We have got, it'll be lights out very soon. 4 lights, 5 lights. That light goes out and away we go. And Rose with a good start doesn't get any challenge from Rapid F1. Tongo Prof, however, does get a great start and goes ahead up into 2nd place. Few movements up and down the field as we see Super Calgon already making up 3 places. So Super Calgon knows what he's got to do. He's already starting to make big moves. But the big move is so far, Tongo Prof jumping from 3rd into 2nd. Knocks Rapid F1 down a place. But Rapid F1 at the moment, but basically for Rapid F1 to win the Drivers' Championship, he just needs to finish ahead of Nat Packers. That's the job. In terms of the Constructors, a little bit more complicated. But finish ahead of Nat Packers and you are the champion, my friend. That simple. And at the moment, you are the champion. Assuming, of course, that it all stays as it is. But let's have a little look at big winners and losers. So far, Super Calgon with a big winner. Already up 4 places into 16th place. Explicit Simo has made a move of 3 places up to 7th place inside that top 10. Landscape King with a 2-place jump. 3 places lost for Jay Hartnell down to 10th. 2 places lost for Zachic. And that's not a great start for Zachic in the other Aston Martin. And the current leader, Rosé, with a 1:18.7. That's the hot lap so far. But it's always very different when you start out, of course. And Tongo Prof is absolutely crawling all over the back of Rosé, trying to find a way through in the Alpine. Rosé doing everything in his power to keep the Alpine at bay. But Tongo Prof is on a charge and really looking to make some inroads as quickly as possible. In terms of tyre choices, everybody, pretty much, other than Rosé, Big Balls, Jay Hartnell, Zachic, Nick, Wabstappen, Super Calgon, Matty Bennett, Bloodpool, all opting for the hard compound tyre. So I stand corrected on tyre choice. They've gone for the hard tyre. Everybody else gone racing on the mediums. So Tongo Prof, Rapid F1, both really want to get past Rosé as quickly as possible and get the most out of those medium compound tyres, the faster of the 2 compounds. The one that gives them the most grip, the one with the least life but the most grip. And if you're going to be stuck behind someone on hard tyres, it's not going to make your race perfect. Tongo Prof does a fastest up there, 130, low 130. As DRS is now enabled, this will be where we see Tongo Prof just making that charge. And with DRS, he may be able to make this overtake happen on Rosé, and really does need to. Being on those medium compound tyres at this stage, really needs to get that done. There is a yellow flag in sector 1. It's over now. Who's that on the ghost line? That's Polish My Balls. Has had looks like a big off and is way back already, 8 seconds down. And is that, I think that's just activated a safety car, or is it a VCS? I think that's a VCS. VCR, should I say? Yes. What did I see? Where did the VCS come from? Virtual safety car. So we do have a virtual safety car, although I don't quite understand why, because Polish My Balls is back up and running. So there's clearly some bits of McLaren on the racetrack, and that will be why we've got the SC, that's your safety car. And I honestly can't tell you where I got VCS from. Just got so Rose does survive the onslaught of Tom Go Prof by virtue of the spin from Polish My Balls. And a couple grades, big balls into the pits. Samuel Beach into the pits. And that puts big balls way down the order. Way down the order. Massive blow to Williams' hopes of crawling into the lead of the constructors. Really big blow. Because at the moment, the current Constructor Championship leaders are Rapid F1 and Zachik running in 3rd and 10th place. There's Zachik there running in 10th place. And we've got the closest challengers in the championship. Super Calgon of Big Balls in 15th and 19th. Although Big Balls has had an opportunity, if you're going in at this stage, it's a forced entry. It's not a strategy to be going in on lap 3 of the 35 lap race. So some big news while we're waiting for the virtual safety car. We'll talk about it a bit later. But I will be returning for the next season here. We'll talk about that later. Tongo Prof goes into the lead, jumps Rose from the VSC straight up, and that's a really good position to be in because Rapid F1, his biggest challenger for this race. Now, for Tongo Prof, it's not going to be about Championships Day, but it is going to be about setting out stalls, showing the reason why he's going to be the person to watch next season, showing why he's the man to beat, because he's going to come in, if he comes into this race and wins another race, another good strong performance, it lets the guys around him know who's the man to beat next season and keep an eye out for. But already opened up a 1.5 second gap over Rose. And surprisingly, Rapid F1, contrary to his name, not putting in that kind of pace, 1.3 seconds back from Rose, not able to get any slipstream off that Red Bull at all. And Tongo Prof just aimed to open up this gap and make it nice. There's Bix MCS. He's 1 second off the back of Rapid F1. Tyler sticking in there half a second back in that Haas. He knows what he's got to do in that Haas, and he wants to improve the chances for that Haas team in the championship right now. There's Nat Packers. Nat Packers currently second in the Drivers' Championship. Constructors' Championship a little bit out of reach with teammate Polish My Balls at the back polishing. And Explicit Simo, there he is, running in 7th place. 1.6 seconds gap to Nat Packers in 6th. The front 8 all on medium tyres, bar Rose, who's putting in, to be fair, some pretty decent lap times on those hards to stay in 2nd. Then we're looking at Jay Hartnell in 9th place, and Jinxie rounds out that top 10. Who else are we looking at below them? Well, Zachik, the Aston Martin driver, his point's going to be vital to help Rapid F1 secure the Constructors' Championship. So really does need to get himself up that order a little bit. Nick X in 12th, Wab Stappen in the other halves would want to join his teammate Tyler further up the order just to give them a good selection of points. And it's Luke's MCS. I don't know what to call it, because it's just I'm not going to go BLNX NCS every time. So Blollox. Yeah, let's do that, Blollox. Big Balls with the fastest lap. Big Balls currently running way down in 18th place, just a couple of places ahead of his little brother, Polish. And some work to do from back there. So with that kind of pace, it's a work cut out time for Big Balls. But let's run from the back of the pack. There is Polish My, which is the little brother of Big. And he is currently running in 20th place, 2.1 seconds off the back of Samuel Beach in the other Red Bull. So we've got a Red Bull in 19th, we've got a Red Bull in 2nd. Very different performances for that Red Bull racing car. Big balls. For Williams, needs a big performance to go along with his big balls if they're going to improve the lot for Williams today. Bloodpool in the Alfa Romeo running in 17th place, 6.4 seconds off Matty Bennett, as we're starting to see penalties being racked up here. Lap 8 of 35 at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Matty Bennett is the second of the two Ferraris, running down in 16th place, 1.1 seconds off the back of Curly. And no one really challenging him. There's decent gaps between everybody. Super Calgon in the other Williams racing car, up to 14th, but still 4.1 seconds off the back of the Wabstappen Haas. And Wabstappen just trying to put some pressure on Nick ahead. And this is the view from his car. This is just 8/10 back. And a couple of decent corners, a couple of better exits, and that Ferrari could be in trouble from the Wabbits. There he is, there's Nick in the Ferrari. Zachic on the hard compound tyres. Now these hard compound runners, they're doing alright, let's be fair, they're doing alright. They can go much longer into this race than those on the mediums. So they've always got that. And if they can keep up a relatively decent pace at this stage, it will come to them later in the race, because they'll just be able to drag that car out a little bit longer, and they will be on the faster, softer compound tyres later on when it counts the most. There's Jinxie. Jinxie showed promise in this championship, but just seems to have fallen away really at the expense of Tom Croft moving up more, I think. I'm currently running in 9th place though in that AMG Mercedes-Benz. 1.4 seconds is the gap to Jay Hartnell in the lead Alfa Romeo. Samuel Beach with a penalty. Loads of penalties been picked up there. Penalties for Blitz, Simo, not Jay Hartnell, sorry, Jinxie. Wabstappen. Polish Marbles with another penalty. Landscape King, Samuel Beach, Bloodpool, all picking up penalties at this stage so far. Lap 9 here of 35, almost at the 1/3 point. Explicit Simo running in 7th place in the Alpha Tauri. The gap to Blues ahead is 2.3 seconds, and Blues 1.4 seconds behind. Nat Packers desperately looking at the back of Rapid F1's car and hoping for a tyre explosion or a wing explosion or a massive crash, and a crash that would take out maybe Tyler and Zachic would be ideal, really. Certainly, obviously, don't wish it on anybody, but when you're in that position in the championship, you kind of hope the guys ahead of you do have a problem. There is Tyler for Haas doing his job for the Haas team in trying to close out that Constructors' Championship and even improved a lot, or maybe even nick a place or two. Currently running 2.5 seconds back from the guy who, if it stays as it is, will be champion in the Alfa Romeo. That's Rapid F1. And Rosé with a penalty. Now that will put Rapid F1 up to 2nd place. If obviously if the gap remains as it is. Remember, Rosé's going to be able to run longer on those hard compound tyres. There is a yellow flag somewhere in Sector 3. That looks to me like Landscape King. Maybe not. Trying to work out who it was that's on a go slow. Let's flick through until we find them. Somebody's not going very quickly. It was Landscape King coming into the pits, so maybe it was him that had a problem. What I need to be able to do is just like click keys on the keyboard and flick between the top 10. If you're watching Codemasters and sports, sort it sunshines. Tongo Prof, there is your leader. He's opened up a 4.5 second gap. And so the pit loss is about 22 seconds. If you can pull out that gap, he is laughing. I don't think he's going to pull out a gap quite that big, but whatever gap he does pull out at this stage is certainly going to see him in good stead. 4.5 seconds ahead of Rosé in the Red Bull. Rosé in the Red Bull, of course, is going to run longer into this race. It is only 11 laps in. Those hard tyres will last out a lot longer than the, well, not a lot longer, but significantly longer than the mediums will. And Rapid F1, literally just counting down the laps to the championship is theirs. It is currently lap 12 of 35 laps. The midway point is lap 17-ish. Then he will be halfway to the championship. That's kind of how halves work, isn't it? You get me. Right. Penalties. Who's been naughty? Rosé. 3-second penalty for you. Runks. 3-second penalty for you. Explicit Simo with 6 seconds worth of penalties. You're going to get cold in your stocking, mate. Santa's not going to bring you jack shit if you keep picking up those naughty points. Wabstappen. 3 penalty points for him. Nick Etz with 3 penalty points as well. Along with Matty Bennett, Samuel Beach, Bloodpool. No relation to Deadpool, of course. Landscape King, Polish My, and Jinxie. All with 3-second penalties to serve. That's a lot of penalties. I'll tell you what, when you open your stocking on Christmas Day, you naughty boys and girls, you will find that Santa's bought you nothing. Behave yourself. Super Calgon picking up a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Naughty. And that's a 5-second penalty there. So at the moment, more than half the field carrying penalties that they're going to have to serve at some stage in this race. Or have it added to the time at the end, of course. There's your leader, Tomgo Prof. The gap is 4.6 seconds, just opening up a couple of tenths a lap. And that's fine. Tomgo Prof will not, once you get a gap like some 4.6 seconds, the onus is not on you to push. The onus is you to just keep chucking in your solid lap times. And what would be really, really good that I don't have access to is a full kind of lap by lap telemetry, so I can see what they've been doing in terms of regular lap times. It's weird because the lobbies here and the lobbies on GT7 are quite different in terms of performance and quite different in terms of information, but between the two of them they give me all the information I need. And wouldn't it be good if they looked at each other's lobbies and went, okay, let's put that in? That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Unless I wonder if there's some sort of app I can get, maybe that will do that for me. Who knows? When I do go to get my new PC next year and improve the quality of my equipment, we'll see if there's something I can get to do. There's Rosé running in second place, 5.3 seconds back. Has built up a 2.5 second gap over Rapid F1. But remember, Rapid F1, all that Rapid F1 has to do today is finish ahead of Nat Packers and not crash the car. That's got to be the number one priority, is not crashing the car. Keeping that car working till the end of this race. Do not put too much strain on the tyres. Do not put too much strain on the engine and any other component of the car. Just bring it home. Then you can worry about where on the racetrack you bring it home. But at the moment, it is just about car management. And that will guarantee Rapid F1 wins this World Championship, the Drivers' World Championship. Constructors, a little bit up in the air, but at the moment, with Rapid F1 running in third, as the Cheek up into 8th place, it's all looking very, very good for Aston Martin cognizance. Tyler is running in 4th place in the Haas. Haas. And just ahead of that, I wasn't just ahead, 1.7 seconds. That's just in the scheme of things. That's only 1.7 seconds, isn't it? Just ahead of Nat Packers. Not showing the kind of front three pace that we've seen over the course of this season in other races. But are they holding something back? Do they have a little secret weapon of a secret burst of speed that they haven't demonstrated yet? I just don't know. Often I do find that a lot of times when I race with people who are cheeky like that, is you'll think they're doing one thing and they're doing something else. There are blue flags out already, and there we go. Nat Packers peeling off into the pit lane. Back of the pack, there is the teammate of Nat Packers, Polish My Balls. Yet to stop, but 29 seconds back. Ghosted out, so I'm wondering if somebody's pressed pause off the flag. Maybe. So if you are ghosted out, that's just because you don't quit, it doesn't mean you didn't rage quit. That's my view. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that's what Polish My Balls have done. But if you are the sort of person that thinks, oh, just by parking up in pits or pressing pause and going away when things aren't going too well, I'm not rage quitting. No, you fucking are. Suck it up. Jinxie is in 19th place, 5.6 seconds behind. Bloodpool has already done a stop. When Bloodpool comes in, should quite easily retain 18th place again. Landscape King with one stop just behind Curly, and potentially making a move. What is on here? What's the tyres got? It's hard tyres for Landscape King, and it's mediums for Girly Whirly. Rapid F1 Tyler both into the pits. That will all change out from Tom Go Prof. Still 5 seconds clear of Rose. But the gap back now to third. And it's moved in third. And it's 10.6 seconds. And Nat Packers, naughty. Removing the presents from your stocking as we speak is the little elf. And really, really close to their Landscape King. Going to get some DRS, going to get some slipstream. This move is going to happen. And there is nothing the Alpha Tower of Curly can do about it. Or is there? Because it doesn't seem the Landscape King has got the pace to make the overtake. Even with slipstream and DRS, couldn't make the overtake on that Alpha Tower in the Alpine. Now, is that purely because there is a fuel saving exercise going on, and it's happy to sit in there and make the move later? And we just see that is Nat Packers coming out of pits. No, it's can't be. I think Polish My Balls just coming out of the pits. Nat Packers winning ages ago, and now we see Landscape King closing up. Is he able to make the move though? Again, just backing off there. I didn't have the speed with the slipstream and with the DRS on that very long straight coming back towards the chicane. But seems to be quicker through the corners, but not able to do anything about it. Naughty Wab Sappin. I'm taking one of your gifts from under the tree and I'm just throwing it in the fire. Keep going, my friend, and you'll find yourself with coal in your socks. So here we go, another opportunity here. Definitely a worse exit that time. A little bit too far back to get any real benefit. We'll get a bit of DRS, but not enough to make an overtake. So not in a position to make that move there. So Tom Go Prof has been in the pits. That's released Rose on those hard tyres just for a few more laps. And I'll tell you what, this is one to watch actually, because Rose has stuck it in there in second on the harder compound tyre. He's going to be hanging it out there for much longer. And I tell you what, but if Rose manages also at the same time to get a safety car pit stop where you save yourself about 8 or 9 seconds in terms of time, it could be good night Tom Go Prof. And hello Rose. But that is your current running order. We are on lap 19. We are past the halfway point. We are less than halfway from the very end of the very last race of this season here at Canada for Smoking Pirellis. And I'll tell you what, I might have joined mid-season, but it's been freaking awesome. Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. Really good racing. Very close racing as well, which is what you love to see. And the question is now, because there's quite a bit going on next year on Thursdays with Black Flag Racing and Black Flag TV. It's what gets televised first, because we've got live races and we've got what will probably happen is it'll have to be the F1 televised first and the GT7 stuff on a replay. And we have our first retirement. That's Explosive Simo. Explicit Simo 23 doesn't make it to lap 23, only makes it to lap 19 before he has to park up his car, get out and have a little cry. He's in the pits though, and so it shouldn't cause any problems with safety cars. So 1 retirement so far, which is not a bad shout. Time penalty for Tongo Prof. Let's go for it. So who hasn't got a time penalty up on the board? Jay Hartnell, Rapid F1, and Big Balls, Curly and Zacheek. Come on, you're letting the side down now. Everyone else has got a penalty. You need to get one now as well. And just even it up a little bit. Make it fun for those that have a penalty to serve. Don't be goody-goodies. Get yourself a penalty. Come on. You can all be punished together. 19 laps so far we've done on those hard compound tyres. How much more have we got? We saw that the medium compound tyres only went about to lap 17, lap 16, lap 17. So if they want to do 16 laps, well, I suppose they can do it now. Any time from now, really. If they pit now, then they can run the mediums to the end of this race. So, big winners, big losers. Big winner, Nick X. Look at that, 10 places gained for Nick X in the Fezzer. How about that for a big jump in the Ferrari? Does, of course, need to go into the pits and will have a penalty to serve. Other big winners, Wab stepping up 7 places in the Haas. Then Super Calgon in the Williams. The cool Williams. 7 places gained there. So Super Calgon obviously finished from the... Not obvious if you didn't see it. Obvious to me, of course, because he started in last. 20th and last. But looking to make a move here on Matty Bennett. Look at this. With the slipstream, with the what's it called, the DRS, with a bit of hers and a bit of oomph, and through those Super Calgon. Next target, Samuel Beach. No, it's not. Yes, it is, because Big Balls is in the pits. Matty Bennett left behind. Has come through those. Big Balls dropping much closer down to see his little brother Polishman. He's now back to Pat Polishman. So look at Super Calgon on a bit of a charge. 9 places now going to Super Calgon. 8 places for Nick, as we've seen a couple of people pit. So I think as we see some of the hard tyre runners go into the pits, we'll see a bit of a seat change out in front. And we'll also see what the big days are there. The big loss so far, so you can big lose 7th place drop. But there is change out front. Rosé has been into the pits now, finally been in and made some pit stopping changes. Now on the medium compound tyre. Tongo Prof takes the lead. 7.2 seconds is the gap. Now, when Tongo Prof went into the pits, that gap was somewhere around 5.5, 6 seconds. So just in that extra period, Rosé was on the track, on the hard compound tyres. Extra time has been lost. Now, the big question is this. Does Rosé have the pace, the regular lap pace, to close those 7 seconds in these last 13 laps? It seems to be that Tongo Prof was crazy fast early on the medium tyres. It will need Rosé to put in a similar kind of pace. And it's almost as if Tongo Prof is listening and goes, bollocks to that. And Tongo Prof is in the wall. He's in the wall. Tongo Prof does the fastest lap, then bins the Alpine. All gone horribly wrong. Commentators curse. He's got to go all the way, and that's a long way to get round without a front wing. There is no front wing on the front of that Alpine, and we're going to see Tyler Rapid F1, I think, close that gap up. They're certainly going to get through when he goes into the pits to change that front wing. But luckily there was no safety car, virtual safety car. Well, not luckily for him. Well, no, I suppose it is luckily for him. It's not luckily for everybody else, of course. They would have liked, I suppose, to have gone and got a free pit stop. So Tongo Prof in big doo-doo now. And here's the comms curse. It's almost as though when I start talking about how well somebody's doing, they cock up. So who do we want to fuck up today? Let's have a look. Let's pick somebody and see if I really am that powerful. If I am, I'm going to start going to bars and persuading people to buy me alcohol. So there we go. Tongo Prof into the pits to repair his front wing. Tyler goes through. We'll see Rapid F1, I think, go through as well. Yes, we do. But what about Nat Packers? Where's Nat Packers? Nat Packers through. Blinks is through. Jay Hartnell will go through as well. Just maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yes, he did just. Nick X will not, though, of course. So, big loss for Tom Go Prof down into 8th place. Because Nick does sneak. Oh, no, doesn't. Not quite close enough. Just behind him. Down to 7th place for Tom Go Prof after putting that Alpine into a wall and leaving the front wing behind. Straight after, of course, doing the fastest lap of the race. Oh, the irony. The irony of doing that. It wasn't the fastest lap of the race. Rose has just done that with a 1:12.8. And that is super duper quick. But nobody else. So it's only Big Balls, Tom Go Prof, and Rose that have gone sub 113 in this race. Everybody else in the 113s or 114s with Bloodpool and Big's little brother Polishmire in the 116s. Bloodpool still hasn't been into the pits. You gotta stop, man. You have to stop. I'm assuming the plan for Bloodpool is to just keep going until he has to go in and then putting on some soft tyres, maybe. I'll tell you what, it's a risky strategy, but Polishmire is 1 minute 6 seconds behind. So all that's left now to get a penalty, just 3 people left for penalty bingo. Rapid F1, Jay Hartnell and Big Balls. Rapid F1's going to be driving super carefully. We know that. He doesn't want to put any pressure on the car. Just needs to bring the car home to win the championship. So probably won't get one. But there we go. For bingo to win the grand prize of fuck all. We need Big Balls, we need Jay Hartnell, and we need Rapid F1 to be picking up some penalties. So let's do a full run through, shall we? We'll include the tyre data. Could write this down, couldn't I? Rather keep flicking through, but I'm not going to. So there we go. There is your race leader, Rose. It was Jay Hartnell puts in the fastest lap of the race, as if to say, I'm not going to cut any corners. And Tom Go Prof lays down another gauntlet. And trying desperately to close out. He's got a lot of work to do, to be fair. So, Rose, which goes nice with a bit of chicken. Polish my balls with another penalty. Is 7.7 seconds clear on the medium compound tyres in the Red Bull Racing car. Leading from Tyler in the Haas. I'll tell you what, this is not too shabby from Haas. We've got Wab Stappen down in 8th, but I'll tell you what, 2nd place. That's some juicy points in this Constructors' Championship. A Rapid F1 still hasn't given me a penalty, and it's bang out of order. Running 7 seconds behind Tyler in 3rd place. This is enough to take the Drivers' Championship, and probably, depending on where is his teammate. His teammate is not running super well at the moment. It's a Duke in 12th. Might be enough to keep the Constructors' Championship. Nat Packers under pressure from Moots manages to hold it. Moots couldn't make it round the outside, and Nat Packers stays in 4th place. Only briefly though, and through those Moots in the Mercedes-Benz up into 4th place. So Nat Packers is relegated down to 5th, 3/10 back, and it doesn't look like she's able to stay. Well, I mean, just stay. Got the DRS there, but is it enough to make the overtake? It's not. That wing snaps shut. But it will be interesting to see actually, because now it is slipstream central. Get it tucked in under that wing. Good exit from here. Nice and that's a lovely tight apex. Lovely tight apex on the power. Didn't quite get on the power as quickly as I think she would have liked to. But look at that closing. When that DRS opens, and here we will see. This is the charge on. Is the move going to happen? It's not. You've got very, very close though before he got to the chicane. This move is not over. Jinxie in 19th place with a 3-second penalty. Still waiting for penalties from Rapid F1, Jay Hartnell and Big Balls. So now Pack is trying to make the move on who just picks up a penalty. So it doesn't even work, but doesn't their own penalty. But in terms of penalties, there's been a lot of penalties this race. Taking the piss with the track limits today, boys and girls. 6 seconds for Rosé. 14 seconds in penalties for Tyler. And that puts him probably down outside the top 5. And my son is standing in front of me rubbing his nipples because he thinks he's going to put me off. He's a fat, weird-looking motherfucker. If anything, it's going to make me cry. As I said, Tyler, 14 seconds worth of penalties in the halves. So he's going to drop down outside the top 5 with the way things are going at the moment. Rapid F1, no penalties for him. But I'll tell you what, if he can get... Basically needs to up that pace a little bit. Because 6 seconds of penalties for Rosé will put them within touching distance of Rapid F1. So I think Rapid F1 is certainly he's on the cards for winning the championship, whatever happens. He's the current championship leader. He's ahead of anybody that can challenge him. Puts him 3rd place is enough to win the Drivers' Championship today. However, Constructors' Championship still in the balance. I could sit here and I could do the math, but in all fairness, it's 8:30 in the evening, and I can't be asked. Let's not be around the bush. I can't be asked to do the math. I will have a look afterwards and work out what I think it is. But you'll know how to find it. That pack's running in 5th place. Where were we? Yes, Jay Hartnell in 6th place. We're on lap 29 of 35. Under pressure from Tongo Prof, who's absolutely on a charge after binning that Alpine into a wall and chucking away £100,000 worth of carbon fibre front nose. Dives up the inside into that 180. Gets on the power. Is now just 5.3 seconds behind Nappers. Able to close that gap? Don't know. Might get a little bit of DRS and slipstream from that car ahead. That is the lapped car, I think, of Jinxie. If I'm right, Jinxie does move over. Very sporting of you, my friend. Get out the way. Yeah, that's the way it's to be done. Jay Hartnell lost out of that place, has got through as well. Next up the road is Wabstappen, 6.3 seconds. Under a little bit of pressure. Nothing significant just yet. A little bit of pressure from Nick X. He's just under a second behind. Not really close enough to put any sort of challenge on that place. Unless, of course, he can close up the gap. I'll tell you who can't challenge Nick, though. Big Balls. Running in 10th place, but 12.4 seconds back from that battle. Zacheek not showing the kind of pace that we've seen previously in that Aston Martin. Just outside the top 10 and with a 3-second penalty to serve. I tell you what, I mean, Big Balls is probably going to move up 1 or 2 places with the way the penalties are. And still just the 3, Rapid F1, Jay Hartnell and Big Balls with no penalties to serve. There's 18 seconds worth of penalties for Samuel Beach. He's basically going to finish next week if he keeps picking up penalties. But there it is. Landscape King, 19 seconds back, 12 seconds worth of penalties. That will... it's so difficult to work out what everyone's going to be because they've all got bloody penalties. It's redonkulous. Super Calgon, he makes washing machines live longer. But can he make his engine live longer and get this to the end of the race? He's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. The only saving grace at the moment is that everyone behind him has basically just been taking the piss with the rules. That's the only way I put it. Matty Bennett, 3.3 seconds back, 15 seconds out penalties. As Landscape King is going for the record. 15 seconds racked up for them. Tell you what, I'm going to give driver of the day, my driver of the day, to the person who can rack up the most penalties without crashing their car or getting disqualified. There's a challenge for you guys at the back. If any of you guys at the back are tuned in to listen to the comms while you're racing, so Polish My Balls, Bloodful, Jinxie, Curly, Samuel Beach, all you guys. Samuel Beach, now 21 seconds worth of penalties. I think he's been listening. Curly, 3 seconds worth of penalties there. He's actually going to jump up a few places because of those around. Jinxie is 23 seconds back. 12 seconds worth of penalties there. Bloodpool, 25 seconds back with 11 seconds worth of penalties. And Polish My Balls, 46.9 seconds back. We've lost just one from this race. Explicit Simo 23. So, where is all the action happening? There. That's where it's happening. I'll tell you what. Look at that. Tomgo Prof has closed that gap down to just 1.4 seconds. If anybody is on it, it's him. That is some driving, I'll tell you. Rosé in the lead, 21.9 seconds clear. He could literally go into the pit stops, make a cup of tea, and get back out in the lead. He's so far ahead. Rapid F1 under a little bit of pressure from Boots. And Nat Pack is just behind that battle. But Tomgo Prof trying to get involved in it. And you can see just up ahead that battle for second place that's starting to unfold here. What, lap 33 of 35? We have just 3 laps of the season remaining. And it's still all to race for. Rapid F1 knows that he's won the championships. And now it's about Paul. Of course, he's still got 3 laps to do without crashing the car. But it's all about pride. It's all about constructors' points. And Moods in the Mercedes-Benz, they're not really in the running for the constructors. But Nat Packers in the McLaren is. And we've lost big balls. So actually, with Jay Hartnell picking up a penalty, it's just Rapid F1 for penalty bingo. So Rapid F1, 22 seconds behind the leader. He is the little speck you see up ahead there in the Aston Martin. Just 7 tenths of a second ahead of Boots, who is half a second up from Nat Packers. Here we go. It's a DRS train. DRS train. DRS train. Here we go. Nat Packers is at the end of that DRS train. No, they're not, because there's Tomgo Prof. Tomgo Prof is getting involved here now. This is a 4-way battle for second place here in Canada. Last race of the season, you wouldn't want it any other way. If you weren't going to chuck one up the inside up until now, now's the time to do it. You've got a couple of laps left. There is nothing else to do but see if you can get one chucked up the inside. Why not? Lap 34 of 35. And at the moment, the winner of this little battle, we would be looking at the leader, but the leader is already finished pretty much. Rapid F1 leads this train of 4 cars out. Jay Hartnell still involved with Jay Hartnell with penalty now. So it's going to be Rapid F1 is going to let me down on penalty bingo by not picking up a penalty. It's rubbish. And obviously I'm not counting big balls and explicit Simo because they're not racing. And there's that dive up the inside that we were looking for from Tomgo Prof. That was brave as fuck. And but Nat Packer's not having none of that. Does get a better exit just by having the wider line. And they almost touch. That is practically sexual assault. They're so close together. They're going down straight. But Tomgo Prof does win out into the chicane. So changes there. Rapid F1 does stay ahead in second place. Good little run out for Nat Packers. Nat Packers not letting Tomgo Prof get away. And this is not over between these two. This is battle personified. We're on the final lap here at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. It is the final lap of the final race of this season for Smoking Pirellis. We've got Rosé leading the way, 6-second penalty. Won't make a blind bit of difference to Rapid F1. He's 22 seconds clear. Then Rapid F1, who will be champion in less than 1 minute's time, will be the champion of the world. half a second back was beat in the Mercedes-Benz. Just trying to take a little bit of the shine off of the result from Rapid F1. So Rose does win this race. Rapid F1 is going to bring it home in second. Or is he? Is there any more to happen here? Can Nat Packers do anything to Songo Prof? Doesn't look like it. And we see Curly's finished landscape king Matty Bennett. Somebody beat Super Calgon and finished soon as well. There we go. Rapid F1 is your champion. Winks in with the penalties. Tongo Prof moves into third. Nat Packers up to fourth. Winks in fifth. Tyler comes home in sixth place. Where does Wab Stappen finish? I think just enough to stay in seventh. So Wab Stappen does finish in seventh. Nick in eighth. Zechik, 9 seconds worth of penalties. I think that he's going to be all right. He will stay in ninth place. Zechik comes home in ninth place. Jay Hartnell in 10th. And a Rapid F1 might be the champion, but he let me down. Didn't get a penalty. We nearly had a full house of penalties there. What can we say? We lost to Big Balls. His brother polished my balls. And not their brother, Explicit Simo. Or Simo, I don't know how he wants to pronounce it. But they're all gone. But your winner, your champion of the world, of the universe, is Rapid F1. And what a fitting name for a champion. Driver of the day, Nick X04. I would argue, actually, it's Tongo Prof. Because what a charge he made after bidding his car into a wall. To make that charge fall was absolutely fantabidosi. And there is your champion, Rapid F1. Punch in the air. Very, very pleased, as you would expect. Sorry, it's not Rapid F1. Sorry, that's the other dude. Rapid F1 is the champion, of course, coming in second. No, good celebration. Love it. So, we know that without question, the drivers' champion, not to piss on the strawberries, mate, but so we know that nothing changes there. Rapid F1 is your drivers' champion. Constructors' champion, however, that's the one I want. I don't think Williams have done enough. They have not. Aston Martin with a second place and in a ninth place. I think that's it. It's done and dusted. Good night. So there you go. Rosé from Rapid F1. Tom Go Prof. Nat Packers Boots. Tyler Wabstapper. Nick. Zechik, sorry. Jay Hartnell. Curly. Landscape King. Matty Bennett. Samuel Beach. They are the final 14. Let's go and see what the sound in terms of the drivers and where everyone is. Tony Beach was 14th. 15th was Washing Machines Live Longer with Super Calgon. Jinxie in 16th. 17th was Bloodpool. And did not finish with Big Balls, Polish My Balls, and Explicit Simo. Williams, McLaren, AlphaTauri. And losing Big Balls has cost Williams a shot at the Constructors' Championship. So there we go, done and dusted. How's about that then? What more can we say? That's it, all finished. That's the end of that race. And I'll tell you what a freaking race that was. Look at the penalty. There was so many penalties. We're going to run out of pages. Just that many. No, but absolutely brilliant finish from everybody. Really, really, really impressive. So, what else is there to talk about? So that's the end of the race here for the Smoky Pirellis at Canada. Back next season, of course, for a new set of races to try and find a new champion. Will Tom Go Prof be that guy? Tom is certainly in the last knockings of this season has proven to be very, very speedy. Now Packer's very quick as well. Rosé from Jamaica putting crazy lap times in that Red Bull. Starting on the hard tyres, never really looked in danger of losing at any stage. It was always very, very confident and very, very in control out in front. So that's it, done, dusted, finished. Coming up next, on, tell you what I do want to do. So coming up on Saturday, we've got our Mind event. It's our charity event. Not going to bang on too much about it. I'll talk about it a lot anyway. We're raising money for the charity Mind with a series of endurance racing events on Gran Turismo 7. Come and join us if you want to watch, or I think we've got a couple of places to race. This week, the race is at the phenomenal racetrack known as... See, I'm stalling because I can't remember. Daytona. It's at Daytona. Daytona with the infield, little bitty. So that will be a little awesome thing coming up. Also wanted to announce we have a new supporter on board. You may have noticed their logo. Let's bring it up today. You can see it down there at the bottom. Sim League Pro. They are, just look them up, simleaguepro.com. I think it's .com. One of the two. Look them up. They essentially let you manage your leagues on PlayStation, Xbox, whatever platform, whatever racing game. Does all the race management for you. And I'll tell you what, it has cut down the amount of work I have to do significantly, because everything can be managed. So you can take a lot of the day-to-day race management off of Discord and put it on Sim League Pro, which makes it much easier to manage. Much easier to manage. And then you can just use Discord for the... It's really intended purposes, which is just to talk rubbish and post pictures of everyone else's mum. That's it. So what's more to say, but thank you very much for joining me. It has been absolutely phenomenal. I've really enjoyed being with you guys for this. I've been umpire. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with the Smoking Pirellis final round at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Your champion is Rapid F1. Your constructors champions are Aston Martin. And I will see you. Well, you can either come and join me for something else, or I'll see you shortly in the new year back here with Smoking Pirellis. Thank you very much. Laters.